Hey everyone, it's Alex Martin from Sidewalk Science Center here in Bradenton, Sarasota, and up in St. Petersburg. You may be starting to hear that there is an eclipse about to come across the United States of America again. And no, I'm not talking about the eclipse on April 8th, 2024. That's going to be something else that we do. There is something called an Annular Solar Eclipse happening this year on October 14th, and it will be crossing from Oregon down through western Texas. An annular solar eclipse is when the moon is at its apogee. That is the farthest point away from the Earth. And when it's really far away from the Earth, it appears smaller in the sky. So when it gets closer to the sun, it does not appear the relative same size as the sun. A total solar eclipse occurs when the moon is near its perigee, that is, near its closest point to the Earth. During this point, the moon will totally cover up the sun for a period of several minutes, relative to your view here on the ground. So what makes the annular eclipse different from the total solar eclipse is that because the moon is smaller, it won't totally cover up the sun, but it will still cross the center of the sun. So when the moon is totally on the sun, there will be a ring of the sun around it. And that's what the word annular means. It means ring-shaped. So you might have already been able to guess, a nickname for this type of eclipse is called the Ring of Fire eclipse. As I mentioned earlier, this eclipse will pass from Oregon down through western Texas. And me personally, I was out in Oregon for the 2017 eclipse that occurred. It crossed over like Salem area and went all the way across the United States. So I've been waiting nearly 6 years for this eclipse, actually more than 6 years, for this eclipse coming up in October to happen. I've been counting down the days, and now we are nearing 100 days until the annular eclipse. Something exciting that we're doing here at Sidewalk Science Center for this is we are sending a team of educators and students and some other people who would like to join us to go out to Oregon and document the eclipse. We're going to be staying at a house that is about 40 minutes north of Crater Lake. Crater Lake actually is on the center line for this eclipse, so it's going to be a very popular spot. There's actually a festival that's happening about 30 minutes south of Crater Lake, where there's going to be music and some scientists and people to bring this eclipse to the masses. So what we're going to be doing with Sidewalk Science Center, some of our educators, some students who follow us, and some other people who will be joining us, is we are going to be documenting the eclipse. We're going to be creating educational videos. We're going to create some art. We're going to have a whole bunch of pictures. And on top of it all, our goal is to record the eclipse number one, through a telescope that will be tracking the eclipse. So it's most likely going to be the telescope that you have seen at Sidewalk Science Center. It's our biggest one. It's our 9.25-inch telescope that follows things through the sky. So we're going to try to record a video through that telescope. We actually just bought a nice solar filter for it about 2 weeks ago. So we'll be able to safely see the sun and the moon overlapping each other. And the other thing that we're going to try to do is make a live stream so that you can watch along with us, ask questions, and get to enjoy the moment with the other educators, the students, and everyone who's going to be there with us. What we're going to do leading up to this eclipse is, of course, at Sidewalk Science Center, we're going to be having educational material and conversations with you about what eclipses are, how they're formed, why some are these annular eclipses, why some are total eclipses, what partial eclipses are that you're going to see, especially next year from here in Florida. There will be a partial eclipse as the total eclipse is going across the country. And there's also even an eclipse called a hybrid eclipse. So we will be able to discuss those things, both at Sidewalk Science Center and through a variety of other formats, such as video and content via our social media pages. Of course, to make this trip happen, we have launched a fundraiser in order to build up some of our revenue and assets to be able to travel out there, to document this experience, to create these other experiences and educational content for you, and then to come back home and be able to disseminate all of that and be able to show it at Sidewalk Science Center and through other formats. If you go on that fundraising page, you can put down any amount that you wish. All of it helps. Because of course, after this trip, there's a whole other eclipse to plan for, and with the success of this upcoming trip to Oregon, we are going to be plotting out another trip to go watch the total eclipse crossing from eastern Texas all the way up. It's actually going to leave the United States in Niagara Falls and then of course up into Nova Scotia. So we have 2 trips that we're actually planning for, but we're starting with this one so that we can work at the logistics, we can see what's working, we can see where we need to improve, and then as the next eclipse approaches, we want to plan a trip that more people can join. If you can't add to our fundraiser, all we would ask is that you please share, like, follow our pages, and get the word out to as many people as possible so they can see what we're doing and so that you can follow along with the educational content. And when that day comes, when the morning of October 14th comes, when that live stream starts, we'll be able to answer your questions. We'll show you how we're set up, where we're set up. The goal is to go to Crater Lake and watch the eclipse from Crater Lake. Our backup goal is if Crater Lake, let's say that it's too cloudy that morning at Crater Lake, our backup plan is to stay where we are at the house. There is a lake called Crescent Lake just down the road, a couple miles down the road. We're going to take everyone, all of our equipment over to there on the beach, and we're going to watch the eclipse from Crescent Lake. That's our plan B. So plan A is watch the eclipse from Crater Lake, which would be spectacular. Plan B is stay nearby, go to Crescent Lake, and record the eclipse from there. Either way, you're going to be able to experience this right along with us. You're going to get behind the scenes content, you're going to get the final images that we get to take, you're going to see everything that we're doing, and you're going to learn a lot along the way. So I encourage you to share this, to follow our page on Facebook and Instagram. You can just go to Sidewalk Science Center. If you see us on the sidewalk in Bradenton, St. Pete, Sarasota, or any events that we have hosting throughout the rest of the summer and into the early autumn, you can help our fundraiser by donating there. Like I said, we're almost at 100 days away from this event. Our actual travel dates are going to be October 12th through the 16th, but the eclipse occurs on Saturday, October 14th, and over in Oregon, that will be totally occurring at 9:19 a.m. The actual eclipse lasts about 3 hours, but the special part right there in the middle occurs from about 9:19 to 9:23. So thank you for watching, and like I said, I'll have those links down in the description and on each of our social media pages and our website. Thank you everyone, and we'll see you on the sidewalk.